I don't know about you, but I'm crazy about spices, and I always say that when I see them, they steal my heart. I want you to take a look at these ingredients. The aroma here is just amazing. And that's what makes our meals, our menu, our food so much tastier, isn't it? And today I want to teach you a complete seasoning blend, okay? I have a series of videos that I'll be sharing with you, but this one you can use for everything in your kitchen, right there at home. I just want you to pay attention because this particular seasoning I'm going to show you has a higher amount of salt, and I'll explain why in a moment. Later on, I'll show you others that use almost no salt, okay? Because I know some of you will complain, but I'll explain exactly why this amount of salt is used. A complete seasoning blend, let me tell you, you can use it for anything. Rice, beans, meat. Let's go through the recipe first, then the context, right? And I'll explain everything to you as we go. I'll even tell you whether you can freeze it or not and whether you can sell it or not. All right, shall we get started with a little recipe? I'll explain more to you. Actually, everything is in the video description, okay, guys? All right, let me start with the water. Let's go. Here I have, look, 100 milliliters of water and 200 milliliters of oil, okay? Just use soybean oil because there's no need to use any other type of oil. So between green onions and parsley, I have one bunch. You buy the bunch and chop it up because soon we're going to blend it. Let me talk about these seasonings here. Look, bay leaves, okay? For the amount I'm making, let's say about 3 to 4 really big, generous leaves. It's just that these here are chopped up, all right? Here I have rosemary. I took 2 small sprigs of rosemary as well. There isn't a set amount, folks. I can't really tell you an exact quantity, okay? Well, here I have Bahian seasoning, which is optional, but add it because it makes a difference, about a level teaspoon and also a level teaspoon of black pepper. Now this here is a must, okay? If you don't like it, you can leave it out, but this is red chili pepper, dedo de moza. It's not spicy, and I'll explain how we're going to use it. 2 red chili peppers. The star of the show here is garlic, right? So I have half a kilo of garlic. I buy the garlic already peeled, but you can buy it and peel it yourself, okay? And salt. For this amount of oil, you'll need 1 kilo of salt. Don't worry, don't be alarmed, it's not as much salt as it sounds. What you need to be careful about is when you add salt to your seasoning, to your recipe, right? Let's put it that way. Not the seasoning itself, because the seasoning takes all of that. Salt acts as a preservative, so it's going to help this seasoning last a long time. Did you know it can last up to a year in the freezer? Yes, and 30 days in the fridge. So you have plenty of time to use it up perfectly. Just like you would add salt to a recipe, you add the seasoning instead. So you don't need to add any more salt. That's why you just need to be careful. In other videos, I'll bring you some recipes that use almost no salt, okay? Just for those of you who want something different too. But you do need to add this amount of salt because it's a preservative, and you use this seasoning just like you would use salt in a recipe, and it will turn out perfect. In fact, this seasoning, just so you know how it really replaces salt, you don't need to saute it in hot oil, like when you fry garlic and onion. No, you can already, it's going to be so finely ground that you can season your food with it just as if you were adding salt. That's the only thing you need to pay attention to. Now let's go step by step on how to make it. I have a large food processor. If you don't have one, a blender will work too. Just do it in batches, add half, then the other half, because the salt doesn't go in here. The salt comes later. So here I'm just going to add the garlic, see? I'm going to add it all at once because my processor is big, okay? And I'm also going to add the parsley. If you're using a blender, be careful because let's see how it turns out here, right guys? Look, I've already added the parsley. Now I'm going to add green onions. I really like them. For me, a complete seasoning mix has to have fresh herbs. And now I'm going to take off the rosemary sprigs, okay? This gives an aroma you can't even imagine. Done, I removed them. And here's another sprig, see, well washed, okay? And the parsley, by the way, guys, you can add the stems too. Just put them in together. I'm going to add 3 bay leaves here, all right? Since one of them is really small, I'll add another one because that one's tiny. I've already cut the chili, just leave the seeds in, okay? If you don't want to add garlic, you can leave it out. This is all to taste. I'll add some black pepper now. And here's the Bahian seasoning, but you can use any seasoning you like, all right? I'm also going to add the oil with the water now. I've already mixed it like this because it's easier. 100 milliliters of water with 200 of oil. And the salt doesn't go in here. So shall we blend it well? Mine will turn out a bit chunkier, but if you use a blender, it'll get much smoother and more homogeneous. Let me show you. Look at this, guys. See how beautiful it turns out. It doesn't turn into that blender paste, but that's okay, all right? If you use a blender, that's fine too. But I like it this way. If you want to leave it a little chunkier, that's fine too, okay? I'm going to take it out of here now. All right, guys, here we have 1 kilo of refined salt, okay? And here comes our mixture, right? Look at this, what a wonder. And it makes quite a lot, okay? So you can, I'll talk a bit more about this seasoning and the others I'm going to post for you all in a bit. And here, I'm going to mix everything really well. It needs to be perfectly mixed so there aren't any concentrated spots of garlic, all right? So I'm going to go slowly here and I'll show you how it turns out in a moment. I mixed it really well, guys, really well. Look how great it turned out, right? Check this out. Now I'm going to put it into containers and talk a little about packaging and how you should store it, all right? I'm already going to give you a tip, especially for you homemakers. You need to use these containers here. 180, 200 milliliters, up to 250 milli works well. And here, look, I'm going to fill them. Let's go, guys. Be very careful not to make a mess if you're making this to sell, because I know everything I teach here you can sell. Be careful not to get it dirty on top, because otherwise you'll have to sanitize and clean it. In fact, these containers are sanitized, okay? You have to be very careful with that. If it's a glass jar, it really needs to be boiled for real. Now this one just needs to be sanitized. Look, I put it in here, I can add a little more, and then I put the lid on and press it down until it locks, okay? Let's see. Yeah, this one needs to be closed better. Hold on. Press it tightly so it locks. You see, guys? Look how beautiful it turned out here. You fill it up well and that's it. Then, of course, you have the little seal here. If you want to sell it, just put your brand here. Look how amazing that is. All you have to do is make your logo, right? Then let me know what you thought, and if you like seasonings and what other types of seasonings you'd like to learn about here. Okay? Bye-bye. See you next time.